What is it? Come on out. You got a new bike?
Yeah, it's a bike.
If you haven't figured out, I'm going to be assembling this kid's bike. It is vintage. This is a 10-year-old birthday gift. How does it hold up? How do you put it together? Let's get started. All right, thanks for being with me. Thanks for clicking. Welcome to my channel and to this video. First things first, we're getting it out of the box. If you missed that intro, this was a birthday gift for my 10-year-old daughter, a vintage kids bike. And I'll put links down below for this bike and other cool recommended high quality, affordable products and also supplies for this video. So we're gonna get it out of the box, snip off all those zip ties. We'll get the foam pieces off and just basically get everything nice and laid out. I do recommend laying it all out on a blanket so that you don't chip any paint or anything like that. I'm just using concrete, being ultra careful, but I've got kids walking around and all up in my business. Anyway, we're gonna get the hardware out of the box too. Yes, it comes with all the tools that you need. That's cool. And I'm going to be kind of paying attention to the quality of the bike too. Obviously, that's important when you review a product. So here it all is. There's cool decals, but I don't know if we're going to use those. There are also plastic things that go on the axles here. We're going to pop those off and you can recycle those. Those are plastic, so please do not put them in the landfill. Put them in the recycling container. All right, and this little piece too, we're not gonna need that. And it's a little awkward working with the handlebar here, but here's what we're gonna do first. I have the bike kind of propped up. You can see like that. And look at this thing, it's just so cool looking. And we're gonna be putting the handlebar unit on through the front part of the bike, just like that. And I'm kind of doing this with one hand. I'll get the tripod out here pretty soon. Try to keep things in focus for you, but you basically lower this thing until the appropriate point. It should tell you on there. The instruction manual does a good job too of like explaining, okay, here's how deep you put it. But it is marked on there and you'll put it about to that line right there. And to tighten this down, you get out the, gonna make sure that's straight. Get out the provided Allen key. It's pretty heavy duty. We've got a real nice thick bolt right down the middle. We want to tighten that up. Let's take a quick break. I've got a to-do list for you. First, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video if you're finding it helpful. If you've got a tip, a question, or just want to share what's worked for you, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing from my viewers. Also, if you're feeling generous and you want to help feed my kids, half joking, not really, hit that thanks button. You can check out my channel merch for some cool DIY bandit gear. You can shop trusted tools and home products that I use, and even consider becoming a member for some cool exclusive perks. Everything you need is in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. All right, next we're gonna get the wheel alignment out. The back wheel is already in place. The front wheel is not. We wanna make sure the tread goes the same way as the back wheel. So that looks to be sufficient. Next, we're gonna take the little brake line piece here and we're just gonna pop that off as shown. And then we're gonna loosen up the nut and the washers at the end of the axle piece on the front wheel because we need to access that bolt or that axle underneath. And we're just gonna, I recommend taking them all the way off. I tried to just keep them on, but I had issues with the bike coming down. So we're gonna put the wheel under like this and drop the bike down on top of it. And obviously those little grip hand pieces at the end of each side, you might need to pull it out. You just saw me signal there. Take two hands and just kind of pull those green parts of the bike out as you slide it on. You may need two people to help you, but here's how it should be oriented. According to the instructions, we've got a washer there on the inside. And then we've got this piece. This is kind of a washable, or a lockable, not washable. Well, maybe you could wash it. A lockable washer. And we put it on like that. And then the nut that is provided, it was already on there. Just use the same one. It just goes on like that. and that washer finds this little seat in the hole. You can see right there. So you want that to be aligned properly, and then you take the nut, screw it on. Make sure you don't strip it out, of course. It should go on nice and smooth by hand. And then what do you think's next? Yep, we've got to tighten that up. And I'm going to make sure things are fairly tight. You can see the other side spinning, so you'll need 2 hands to hold one side on while you tighten them up. And I'm going to tighten them till they get, where I can't really tighten it anymore, and then an extra little huff and puff should do it, and then we'll put the plastic caps back on. I suppose that's optional. Those are probably like dust covers to help keep things clean, or maybe just make it look aesthetically nicer compared to metal sticking out. Next, we'll take the fender. This is the front fender, and we'll get this attached. There's a little brace right there. And to do this, we're going to take the Allen key provided and back off this screw right here and the washer that's already set inside there, and do the same thing for the other side, because we're going to be attaching those really long kind of skinny parts of the fender to here. Let me show you what I mean. And I just kind of put them right down there, so you don't want to get them too far away. That way, one thing at a time, so you don't get screws and washers mixed up. All right, this bolt right here, right above the front wheel, we'll need to take that out. There's a nut, a washer, and a bolt. You just pop that out. And remember where that goes, because we're going to be putting that back in a hot second. Next, we'll take the front fender and we'll kind of put it through the back like this. It's a little awkward working with one hand. You'll have 2, obviously. And we'll just orient it like that. Oh, the tripod. Why didn't I think of that? So yeah, this part's pretty easy. You put that big bolt back in through the front. I know my hand's blocking it. Sorry, can't be perfect. Try my best. And then you put the washer and the nut back on through the fender L bracket there. And that should be securely in place. Before you tighten it down though, you might want to make sure this piece is on. You take that long silver part of the fender and put it over the hole, and then put the washer and the nut right back through that and through the hole and tighten it down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, of course. And again, you'll want to make sure these are pretty tight. You might need to use, I wouldn't say huffing and puffing to get this oriented, but you might need to encourage it a little bit to get into the proper alignment. And you just tighten it down like that. Pretty simple. Fast forward it there for you. And again, tighten it down. And we'll tighten this front bolt just to make sure. I'll use 2 hands here to hold that nut in place while we tighten that down so it just doesn't just spin on you. And that takes care of that. Next, we'll do the same thing or similar thing to the back fender. The back fender is already installed except for those long stainless steel or metal pieces. So we're going to back off those screws on the back wheel. And we'll do that on the other side as well. Make sure it's going the right way, of course. Sometimes when you're like upside down or like backwards, and yeah, you spin it the wrong way, but you figure it out. I hope you figure it out. If you can't, then you've got problems. But all right, so look at that. We just kind of take these metal pieces and put them in there. They'll want to kind of pop off on you a little bit, but you get the idea. So we'll put that washer back on with the nut and the screw, and it goes right through and kind of, well, it just holds everything in place. I like the design. And the fenders are classy, I think. Vintage, cool. Gives it just an extra look. All right, next we'll take the cargo piece. I don't know what this is called, But you can like put books on it, bungee cords, put a stuffed animal on it, whatever a 10-year-old may want to put on this. Now, could this be a bike for somebody who's not 10 or older than 10? Of course. It's all about the measurements. Anyway, I digress. We're going to unscrew the screws and the washer that are right here on the left side and the right side. That'll be one of our mounting points. And then down there's another set as well. I know it gets a little congested down there, but it makes sense. You can press pause, you can zoom in to see exactly where that goes. I'll try to give you a better angle as well from the side, not just the top, but it kind of fits on like that. All right, so we're gonna zoom in for you. And you basically mount it right there in the screw holes. One at the top on the left, one at the top on the right. We'll do those first, and we're not going to get it super tight. We'll tighten them after we get all 4 mounted. And make sure your washer goes on the outside, of course. And then you just kind of bring it down like this, and you'll do the same thing. Grab that washer and the screw, and they just kind of go through and go into the mounting hole. The kickstand should be propped up to give you the balance that you need, or you can have somebody kind of hold it, but the kickstand works fine as long as you're not pushing around too much. And you might need to take 2 hands and kind of pull out a little bit if you're having issues, but I didn't have any issues. It went on really well, pretty easily. So there's a better view for you of the left side. I mean, come on, this is pretty simple stuff. But I understand it can be really complicated if you've never done this before. And the visual instructions sometimes it's just better to watch a YouTube video, right? So I'm going to get all those tightened down. Next up is the seat. I dig the seat quality texture. It's pretty cool. It's like a faux leather. Doubt it's real. Sorry. But I like the way it looks in contrast with the green. Just a really beautiful color. So you just put it in the seat hole like that, and then it clamps. You may have to adjust that as needed. You just turn the clamp. Next up is the pedals. And there's a little sticker there. We can get that off. You want to make sure the pedal is on the right. So it's clearly labeled. You can see that red sticker. This one's the right pedal. And you just hand twist it on. Should only go one direction. It'll bite and tighten up. And then you'll need your wrench to tighten down that space in between the white plastic and the metal bar coming down. You just kind of torque it down so it doesn't just spin on you. So it kind of goes like that. There we go. That looks pretty tight. We'll do the same thing with the left pedal and call that done. We'll put the white plastic caps over the back rear axle on both sides. Again, probably not critical, but I'm gonna do it. Next up, the bell for the handlebar itself. It comes with a bell. You can certainly buy a third-party bell if you want something that is a little more substantial or whatnot, but this one has, obviously the matching white and chrome, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and it works just fine. Lightweight, simple, and this is how you do it. Just slide it on there. Use the screwdriver or a screwdriver to tighten that up. Boom, beautiful. Next up, the handlebars themselves. They obviously move back and forth until they're tightened down. So I'll take the Allen wrench and just tighten up right there. This is plastic. I wish it were a little heavier duty, but should work just fine. This is the price you pay if you want a really cool vintage affordable bike. These companies cut costs by doing plastic sometimes, but I mean, my daughter's not gonna be like hardcore mountain bike racing on this thing, so All right, let's take care of the front brake system. We're going to replace that. If you remember early in the video, we took that off. Then we'll take that black sleeve and just kind of push it up. And then we're going to test it out here and adjust it, because chances are you won't get it right the first time. We're going to do the front brake. That's the left. If you're on the bike, it'll be your left hand. And that should pull and compress and push those brake pads against the rim of the tire. And you can see it needs a little adjustment. And so to adjust that, we're going to take the Allen wrench and loosen up that right there. And we'll kind of pull that cable tight, 2 hands here. While that cable is pulled tight, you will keep tension on the cable. We'll try maybe like right there, and then tighten that up. And we want to tighten it fairly tight because we don't want anything slipping. See, so kind of about right. You'll get it. It just takes a little bit of. And remember where you left off, right? If you've got like too much hanging out, you know how much is hanging out, so it kind of, you can adjust and then try it again. And then do the old test, just squeeze the brake and pull it back, and that wheel should not move. So we're good. Next up is the basket. This is provided with the bike. This is pretty cool. It may be an additional purchase, an add-on. I can't remember. You'll have to check that out. If so, I definitely recommend the basket. My daughter likes to put stuffies and little friends in there. And of course, no bike will work. Doesn't matter how expensive it is or what it looks like without air. So we're going to boot up the old compressor. You should probably use a hand pump, but I like the compressor. I like to walk on the wild side. This thing's got some power, so it could just blow out the tire, but get them nice and firm. And before we are street ready, ride ready, sidewalk ready, we're going to put on the reflector on the back, and that is provided, of course. We'll just put it into place like that, and there's a couple of nuts. Oh, a little slippery. There we go. Tight, baby. This is what it looks like when it's all said and done. What do you think? I dig it. I'm sorry, that is cool. I wish I had one of these when I was a kid. Yeah, that's a great, and the color combination is really unique, I think. Slick. Looks great. This does have gears, of course, I should mention, the handlebars, and we'll take this little sticker off, and it does click. It's got like 6 gears. You just twist like that. So that's kind of nice. I really like the grip. Gear shifters, just like that. Pretty simple. And as the making of this video, which is at least a couple of months after we've used it, it is riding perfectly. I don't publish videos unless they make the cut of longevity as well. So by the time you're watching this, if it's live on YouTube, it is a recommended product by me, meaning we kept it, we like it, and we're sticking with it. And that is how you do it. Highly recommended bike, and that's how you put it together. Hopefully this has helped you out. Thanks so much for being with me, and stay sneaky.